it's going to be the eternal stare-off. Who's going to start stalking first?
Sarah.
It was me. We should do if I blink first, then I get to start talking first.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 304 of the Brain Candy Podcast. I am Susie Meister here with you today, and also here with me is Sarah, as per usual.
Yeah, as per usual. Ooh, I haven't said that in a while.
I know. Why not?
I don't know. What's up with that?
Maybe
like nothing usual is happening, or like
right. It's been very unusual.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right. So that's it.
Okay. Let's see. What do we have to start with? Anybody mad at us? Let me think.
Don't think so.
No.
Oh my gosh. Actually, there was somebody mad at me the other day.
What happened?
Oh my God. So there are good things and bad things about wonderful new restaurants opening up right next to the little, there's this place called The Circle that's right by my school. It's where it's like a little downtown Orange shopping center. But there used to be just like meh restaurants, but they've recently opened up a few really fantastic ones. And lunchtime traffic is absolutely insane. Fighting for a parking spot, it feels like Christmas, Christmas shopping in the mall every single day from like noon to 3. So I'm like searching and hunting for this parking spot. And it's like a tree in the middle of the center, and then there's a big round, you can drive around the tree. And so it's like round, and there are parking spots all around it. And I freaking go to wait for this parking spot. Oh my gosh, this man, in order to get this parking spot, I maybe just a little bit had to block traffic that was turning, but I left enough room for them to go through. This guy, I thought he was going to jump out of the car with a crowbar or something.
What?
I've never been yelled at like that in my whole life. And everybody else could figure it out, this guy was like, you can't do that. You can't park there. And the worst is I couldn't even hear him, but I could just read his lips.
Oh my God.
I'm mouthing out, what would you like me to do, sir? What would you like me to do? And the worst part about it, Suze, was it was right in front of this brand new restaurant that I wanted to go to that has tons of outdoor dining right in front. And everybody who was dining in front was watching this happen to me. And this was the front row parking spot. So I was getting the best parking spot to go right to the restaurant right there. But now I can't go because now I'm the chick who just got yelled at in the middle of, and I was too embarrassed. So I had to go to a crappy place down the street that was a restaurant that's been there forever that isn't good because that's why they put the new ones in.
Shut up.
So that's my story. That was a long rant.
It's crazy to me whenever anyone's mad at you because you're so nice. And
I didn't even yell, or there was no finger exchange.
Finger exchange.
Like middle or other.
I get it.
Okay.
That is awful.
Yeah,
Gosh.
I was so embarrassed. It just brought me back to he was like a guy in his maybe late 40s, early 50s, just so angry. And I was like, I'm sorry,
you know what's
sir.
Crazy is, this was several years ago, but there was an incident where some guy pulled out in front of me and I honked, and he was super mad that I honked at his action. And so he turned around and passed me up. He went on the wrong side of the road to pass me, and then made his vehicle go across, perpendicular.
No.
Yeah.
No, in the movies.
Yeah, to block, Fast and fucking Furious.
Yes.
And he, blocked both lanes.
Stop.
And I'm standing there, in the car staring at him. And, of course, I gave him the finger, which was not a good thing to do. And then he did get a crowbar out of his car.
Susie! This is my nightmare! Oh my gosh, what are you saying?
Actually, I think it was a bat or something.
That's better.
Right. He got something out. I think it was either a crowbar or a bat. And he starts coming towards my car. And looking back, I wish I had run him over.
You would have been it would have been self-defense.
I wonder
point,
though,
right?
because I feel like it was
cars.
Mismatched. He just had this thing that he could hit the car with, but I have a giant.
What were you supposed to do?
I know. I just went around him and drove off.
Well, thank God.
Right, but if I hadn't.
Well, if the option is run him over or drive around him,
but,
definitely take drive around him to avoid jail time.
I guess so, but like now I feel mad because he got away with it.
Yeah. Oh, but fuck that guy.
It was super scary.
Sorry, Linda.
I haven't been apologizing to Linda lately, even though I've been swearing a lot.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
okay.
I'm feeling rebellious.
It's kind of like, like a sneeze. When somebody sneezes like 7 times in a row, I'm not freaking saying bless you every time. You get like 2 of those. And then after that, you're on your own.
I also don't do that. I don't say God bless you. I usually just ignore it because I find it to be a weird
It
thing.
is totally weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, have we ever looked into that?
I say excuse me when I sneeze because I think that's the right thing to do. And
Or like the person who sneezes says, excuse me.
yeah, it's
But
gross.
why?
My germs are everywhere.
Suze,
and-
but it's would you say, well, actually you do kind of say excuse me when
Yeah.
you cough. I don't like apologizing for bodily functions
really
that are out of your control. Because now I want to cough.
well, it's just so loud.
Excuse me.
Sneezes are so loud and they're so gross. I just feel like saying excuse me for that outburst.
When I sneeze, I plug my nose and close my mouth.
Why?
And my brother tells me my brain's going to explode or something.
Yeah, there's no way that's healthy.
So he tells me that when I sneeze, in order to avoid, like, bugs coming out of the nose or anything, you say achoo.
Stop it.
I swear to God, it works, Suze. Like, when you do it, like, go achoo. And when you do the choo, it totally, it's like just the same thing as doing a chew. Because I swear, I tried it before and it totally
What's
works.
the point of plugging up your holes?
Oh, because I kind of like the feeling. And I don't know, like clears my sinuses.
For
and,
real?
I don't know, it like makes like, it's kind of like the same as when you go through a tunnel, or not through a tunnel, like down a hill or in an airplane, your ears pop.
Okay.
Feels like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, it's because I'm scared of, when I was little, I was scared of having like a booger shoot out of my nose experience.
Oh, I get that fear.
So I started plugging my nose, and now I just do it. I think maybe now I just plug my nose and then I open my mouth. I don't know.
You're
Who
not
knows?
a big sneezer, though. Like, you don't sneeze
Yeah,
very much.
That's true. I don't really have bad allergies.
You're more of a burper.
What? Am I?
Yeah, this is what everyone says, right? How you do the under the, it's like the subtle burp.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's probably because I always drink Diet Coke when I'm at your house. And I
Right.
never drink Diet Coke anywhere else. So the times people, because in my regular life, I totally don't burp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only with soda.
That
Probably
makes
because I don't
sense.
drink it that often.
This is all my fault. That's what I've learned. Did you see? This is a news story.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, this is another news story, which is that last time you were over, I once again had a migraine, and we got donuts, of course, because when I get migraines, I crave sweets.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have this problem where I get migraines all the time, and it's the worst. And it started like when I got pregnant, and then it never went away, and I just get
Are
them
you
all the
for
time.
real?
Yeah.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that it's like hormones change, and then your body changes, or whatever. I don't know what it
Yeah,
was,
but that's sucky.
or maybe my son just gives me headaches, which
Or
is
that.
believable.
Always-
But anyway, there is this awesome service called Cove that helps people that have migraines, and I'm so excited about it because I was able to, you go online and you basically have a doctor's appointment, but just via online.
Oh, I love those
which
things now.
I do too.
Gosh, it's so great that is something that we could do now.
It's so great that you can go from your home and have a doctor review your symptoms and determine what is the best course of treatment for your personal issue. So you can get a personalized supply of medication delivered directly to your door, which is what I now have. So next time I get a migraine, I can take this medication and it hopefully will help because my gosh, migraines are absolute worst. Everyone has different symptoms too. So you have to kind of figure out what the best plan is for you. And I just feel like my experience was so easy and it was so personalized and asked me questions that I wasn't even asked when I was going to my actual doctor about
Oh,
my
gosh.
medical history. Yeah. So the care was really good and I was impressed with it. But if you suffer from migraines, the last thing you need is to have to wait to see a doctor. And with Cove, there's finally a way to get the help you need when you need it. And when you use our special link, you'll get your first month of treatment for free. go to withcove.com/braincandy. That's withcove.com/braincandy. Withcove.com/braincandy to get that month of treatment for free. It's super easy, and you can learn a lot about your symptoms and what's best for you. Okay.
Well,
did you see the news story about the woman who was in a bike race in, I don't know, Germany maybe? And they had the men went before her, and then the women's version goes like 10 minutes after the men. And she caught up to the men, and they made her stop and let them continue.
No.
Yes. And she ended up losing the race.
I'm so mad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck those guys. She would have beaten, she should enter the men's competition next year. I'm so pissed.
Right. So, like, they didn't leave enough of a gap, and she's hustling and in her zone and caught up with them. Then when they made her stop, then she was talking about how the whole vibe changes, because if your competitors see you, then they're more inclined to try to, like, want to catch up then. So it changed the whole momentum and her whole position in the race, just to accommodate these fucking dudes.
And an object in motion, hello, you know, like, if you're hustling, you're hustling, and you get in that zone where, oh my God, this is so messed up. Like, anybody who knows anything about sports, and, like, you know, when they say you hit the wall and then you, like, break through it, and, you know, if you, like, break through, like, 2 or 3 of those, whatever it is, you get to that, like, runner's high, or I would imagine there's a biker's version of it.
Yeah.
And as soon as you stop that, you got to, like, start that process all over again.
It's infuriating.
Dude.
Like, if you're going to do that, where you have the men's race go and then the women go, at least leave enough time.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Who, in a bike race,
right?
Like a cycling thing, you don't think that 10 minutes that's how bad they thought women were at this.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, all she had to do was catch up with the worst guy.
Right.
Come on. Everybody kept sending me this link. Laura Edgar sent it to me. A bunch of people kept tagging me. They're like, oh, I can't wait to hear what Brain Candy says about this.
I mean, for Christ's sake.
Right? And then she ended up...
I don't know why this one's extra getting to me, because I'm really at this point where I'm like, enough is enough already.
I would imagine that part of why this rings true is because on the challenge it feels like this a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Where, like...
That could be it, too.
They really just want the men to do well, and, like, the fact that they have to include women seems like it annoys them.
It totally does. It's like, and now the men's round where they put the real stuff out there.
Yeah.
Like God.
That's infuriating. She ended up coming in 74th place, and I'm sure that it's in no small part because of what happened.
And think about how defeated you would just feel when I'm just mad. She should, like, I don't know.
She should sue.
Yeah.
Be litigious.
I mean, could you? You probably couldn't. I think you
could.
Yeah, you can probably sue for everything.
Take it for all they've got.
At least in California.
Yeah. I also, last episode we were talking about different documentaries we've been watching. Did you watch American Meme? That's on Netflix.
I did not.
I really liked it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was thinking, like, I keep reading the preview of it, going like, meh. So,
it doesn't appeal to you?
I don't know why it didn't. You know what I think? Isn't Paris Hilton in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I, saw her, and I was like, what are we doing here? So I didn't know what it was.
Well, the premise of the film is about what is driving American influencer culture on mostly social media, of course, and how the genesis of it they place with Paris Hilton, and that she was the first one to sort of see that you can become a brand without doing anything.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Like, she was the one who started the That's Hot on the shirt.
Yeah, and that just started sex
all those,
tape.
Oh my God,
ushered in this whole weird movement towards
in the world of people who had sex tapes that come out, she's the last one that I think of. I don't know why.
Right, but she was like the first one.
She was. Oh, what about Pam Anderson?
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I mean, that was stolen. I guess all of them were.
Oh, was her stolen?
Well,
Paris
Paris
Hilton?
was released by the man in the video.
Oh.
She didn't release it. Whereas Pam's was stolen from a safe from her house.
Yeah, totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the film was chronicling different influencers. One was from Vine. One was this guy that's on Instagram. And his story was really depressing. And I think his Instagram
Is it the
handles-
fat Jew?
Oh, he was on too. I hate that guy.
I do too.
He steals all of his stuff from people like me.
No joke.
But this
Did you say
guy,
from people like you?
yeah,
Yeah,
'Cause
it's true.
If you put out like a funny tweet, he'll just steal it and make a meme out of it and not give you credit. Now they claim they give credit, but whatever. It's too late now. He has like all the 2 million followers and whatever. Anyway, the one was called Slut Whisperer. He goes around and like throws champagne on people's faces and bodies and takes pictures and videos and then posts them. And that's the essence. And his whole feed is super misogynistic. And his story was so depressing though, because he basically parties for a living. And we know a few people like that. Mm-hmm. And he is now like spitting up blood in the morning. You know what that means.
Oh my God.
It's so bad. And
He
he'll
has
say
cirrhosis.
it like, yeah, clearly.
Oh my God.
And it's like, he's going to die. And I don't
Yeah, he's gonna
understand
die.
why he's not stopping. But I also
Well.
understand when that's your whole livelihood and your whole life and identity. Again, with the identity thing.
Oh my God. That is so depressing.
But it's
Because it looks like that's the fucked up part is that you have all those followers and everybody who's like watching and thinking that, ooh, that's so cool or ooh, that whatever they're thinking. And he on the other side is going to die.
Right.
And is such a sad human.
Well, and it tells you a lot about what we value as a culture. And
It's fucked up.
the people that are becoming famous for this stuff, some of them are functional and creative and interesting, but a lot of them are just like exploiting the low hanging fruit.
You know what? This is where you have to like fight as, oh gosh, it's kind of like when you have to, what do they say? Like vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with your followers or with who you follow.
Yes.
I think you have to, like, I'm thinking right now, I'm going to go through and unfollow all of those ones, those meme culture-y things, now that you say that. Because this is messed up.
Yeah.
Unless it's, like, contributing to the betterment of, like, the human soul, like all those wonderful... There are some great ones out there. Then frickin' A, get out of here.
I agree. It makes you think, and I think that we can all do better in that department.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do that.
I mean, I do feel like conflicted often about the challenge stuff that we contribute to by watching and being a part of.
Totally
and
true.
I saw somebody on Brain Candy Crush was saying like she didn't think that we enjoyed watching the challenge. Like we do it, but we don't enjoy it. And I was like, she's not exactly wrong. I am ambivalent. Like when we watch the challenge and do the Q&As.
Yeah.
I am ambivalent about it because parts of the show I feel like are really disgusting, especially towards women.
Totally.
And we're kind of we're promoting it.
Yeah, I know. But the counterpoint to that is that we provide the alternative like view and like call it out. I think it's important to say like this is fucked up. And depending on who you're watching something with, you can have a totally different viewing experience where you take home a very different message. Like I was thinking about, The Little Mermaid in like Disney movies.
Yeah.
And how she like trades her voice for whatever. If I were a mom watching that with my kid, I could spin that and say, can you believe that she did that? Wow, she can't do this, she can't do that, like blah, blah, blah. And I would make it seem like that isn't the right, don't give up the thing that you value for a guy, But if you watch it with somebody else, it would be like, oh my gosh, he got the man.
Yeah.
So it's like, So that's how I sleep at night.
Right. Well, when I sleep at night, I have dreams about ModCloth clothing.
Ooh.
I do. I just dream. I just lay down.
Ooh, I can't wait for bathing suit season. So
I
can
know.
wear my ModCloth bathing suits.
I know. And I'm terrible because I like variety. So I listed some of my old stuff on Poshmark, and now I'm like, oh, I can
Absolutely.
get new stuff.
Yes.
And that's one of my favorite things that ModCloth has is the swimsuits, and they're those cute like pinup style. Mm-hmm. I just love them, and I think they're so pretty and flattering, but they're modest, which is great for if like I'm going to be with my son or go out to a public pool or something like that. But they just have a lot of new stuff for spring, which is so fun to shop for because we're all dying for the warm weather. And dresses with pockets, excuse me.
Ooh,
yes.
Yep, just like your wedding dress.
I had pockets sewn into my wedding dress. You have to.
Yeah.
And they have a deal for our listeners. To get 15% off your purchase of $100 or more, go to modcloth.com. That's modcloth.com. And enter promo code BRAINCANDY at checkout. This offer is valid for one-time use only and expires on June 9th, 2019. So that's to get 15% off your purchase of $100 or more, go to modcloth.com and enter BRAINCANDY at checkout. Get some nice new suits. All right. Let's see. What else do I have to talk to you about? I was reading this depressing thing about how... Did you know this? This is kind of just like a statistic. Okay. Most states don't mandate sex education.
Suze,
yeah.
This is another thing I talked about in the class the other night.
I feel like you're writing all the articles I'm reading.
I mean, what the heck? You're like inside my brain.
So you knew that most states don't mandate sex ed?
Yes, absolutely.
That's
because
shocking.
I was part of a panel in Long Beach where there was a woman named Erin Marin who has a law called Erin's Law that she started about age-appropriate sexual abuse awareness that's taught in line with sex education. And the problem is that almost all the states have passed it, but none of the states know how to enforce it because they can't mandate it.
Wow. Why not?
So, because people aren't doing it. It's not like it. And they don't know what the consequence should be if you're like not. How do you punish a school for not?
Well, the only thing that schools seem to care about is funding, so you could take away funding.
Yeah, but then it's like, I don't know. It seems that it's difficult to enforce is what they're saying.
It was saying that only 13 states require it to be medically accurate.
Oh,
right?
What? Wait. Whoa. What are they doing in the other ones?
It's a free-for-all, whatever you want.
Dude, that's not how stuff works. What if you are in an auto mechanic? You're in like auto repair class.
Yeah.
And only 13% or 13 states, is that it?
Yeah.
13 states actually required you to put the car together based on the manual. Or take any class. Science, chemistry. Mm-hmm. Only 13 of you have to follow the rules in what combustible materials go together or don't, and the other ones, go ahead, blow the shit out of the place.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. Don't follow the laws of science and how the natural world works. I'm pissed.
And what's more is 7 states don't allow same-sex relationships to be shown positively.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's illegal.
Do they know that it's oh my God. Oh my God.
You're the best reactor.
I got a really good night's sleep last night, so I'm really able to just like put all of my mind and be like present in this moment as I think about the consequences of this and how backwards this is for how we legally can get married. And I'm sorry.
Right?
So.
That is so upsetting to me. I was surprised they aren't required to have sex ed, and then I was shocked by how few have to be medically accurate, and then I was shocked again when I heard about the same-sex problem.
Here's what I think the problem is.
Yeah.
When I think sex education has bad PR, like it has a bad association to that name. And we have to change it into something like human, like a body class or something about like the physical health or something like that. Because when parents who are very close-minded, anybody who has any sort of, you think about just the statistics of who's been sexually assaulted. So 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted in their lifetime. And I think that might even be before the age of 18, but we'll just say in their lifetime to be on the safe side of statistics. And so you have a lot of people who maybe have like a lot of trauma around sex and a lot of like uncomfortability talking about sex. And those are just the people who we know have been traumatized, not people who haven't but are still uncomfortable talking about sex, who grew up in a culture where you don't do that. So when they hear sex education, they think, oh my God, I do not want my child to know about a penis going into a vagina or, God forbid, the penis going anywhere else. And they just say no, and they don't want it, and they fight back. But they don't understand that age-appropriate sex education looks very different. It's like learning about what parts of the body do what, more learning about your own parts.
Yeah.
Because I sat through a sex therapy class where not once did we talk about actual sex. It was about the male body, the female body. We all have one of those. We all have those parts. Why don't we talk about, you talk about the eye, you talk about the ear, you talk about the nose, talk about the penis, for Christ's sake.
Well, and why are people fine with their kids learning about it from porn? Because that's what they're doing.
Oh, totally true. Dude.
How is that better for people? I don't get it.
It's not. Well, you know that.
No, right, but I just don't get their mindset. Are they in denial that that's how people are learning about it? Because
yes,
wake up.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When I think this next generation, like you and I both know that that's a possible way that either of us could have learned about sex. Yeah. I don't think our parents' generation knows that because they didn't learn about sex like that. Mm-hmm. So maybe when we have like our kids and they grow up and they're like, oh man, that messed me up. We need to learn about this. Like I don't know. I'm hoping that it maybe switches because for goodness sakes.
I know. It's just mind-boggling.
It just causes so many problems.
Yeah.
That's why, that's what like a rape culture, like that kind of is what creates that.
Yeah.
Is this, porn and, oh gosh, I'm not saying that porn creates that. There's the good and bad to everything, but just like.
Well, it certainly doesn't give you a realistic understanding of how sex is in life.
Correct. Yeah.
What about how
Suze?
We had that guy on from Doc Johnson, and then I read an article after that said how vibrators are looking like totally different now, and that they're creating ones that look cute on your nightstand. Have you seen them?
Oh, cool.
They're like white, and they kind of look like a vase or something that you might display. And they just decided to start making ones that women would actually not be embarrassed to own, that aren't just like giant rubber wangs. Or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. Or that look like a rabbit or whatever, that are more novelty style.
Yeah, they totally look novelty. Oh, it's so ridiculous.
I know. I guess that's just... How do you think that came to be the norm?
Because I really don't think in the beginning it was women designing this. And I think it is in that their idea of what women would want,
Yeah.
Like, it feels like if you told a man to draw a picture of a woman and he would make like big boobs and like it would almost look like a caricature. I feel like a lot of the sex toys are caricatures of like the old versions, you know, like with the beads in it that's been around, the rabbit and the little toy that comes. It's like, no, they don't really want that.
Well, and you remember when like those sex parties got big with like women going to they're almost like Tupperware parties with different sex toys. Mm-hmm. And it felt, I never went to one, but the tone seemed to be like kind of just silly the way that, you know, like at a bachelorette party when they get the penis straws and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, novelty.
Yeah. And I don't know why. I guess it's because women were at that time still.
Oh, or with all that kind of stuff, okay, I think maybe this. When something is really uncomfortable, you break the tension with a joke or make it silly or make it playful.
Yeah.
And that is probably it. Because you can't really look like, oh, yes, I'm interested in this sex toy. I would absolutely like this to improve the quality of my sex life with my husband since he's giving eyes to his secretary and I blah, 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 whatever it is. Yeah. Or for myself because, God forbid, I would really like to enjoy, you know, masturbating something or enjoy new, self-love and or try something new for myself, you know, and they can't like say it in earnest. So it's like, oh my God, I could never. Can you believe that? That's huge. You know?
That's why I liked when we were going through the toys. Like, it was so funny to see some of them. Mm-hmm. But, like, in seriousny, you were like, what?
I'm totally going to tell you that one of them, whoa, it's good.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I really liked how you were like, oh, I want to try this. This looks interesting. Like, you have a very sex-positive attitude, which I love, of course.
Yes.
And, like, we can have fun and joke about the things, but also it's like, oh, this is cool. Well, you should try it or whatever, and I like that.
Yeah, there should be absolutely no shame. I mean, sex toys are designed, all that stuff is, like, designed to enhance the experience, and especially if you have like, you know, it could help kind of, I don't know, like kind of get there if getting there is hard for you, and which it is for so many women. Mm-hmm. And it makes it more comfortable, and that feeling becomes more familiar, and it's almost like you slowly move the sex toy out of the bedroom, and then it's just like you and your partner.
Yeah, it's a gateway toy.
It's a gateway toy. That's excellent. Yes.
Right, I like that.
Yes. It totally is great for that.
I also like
sex positivity.
Another thing I really am positive about is having food delivered to my door so that I can cook it, and it's HelloFresh, and it's so yummy.
Ooh, yes.
We love their recipes. I think I can speak for both of us when
I need to get HelloFresh again.
Right? It's so good.
Yes.
So simple. So yummy. And what's not to love about, like, having the stuff delivered to you? I hate going to the grocery store.
Same. I don't have time.
No.
I don't have time to do any of that. Just show up in the little bags. Let me make it. It's fantastic. 20 minutes. Everyone's delicious. I'm going to do that. What am I thinking? Not having... we must have gone on vacation or something. And
Yes, you got to start it up. 3 plans to choose from. There's the classic veggie family. They have different sizes, and they have like fun menu features like the dinner to lunch or the 20-minute meals, the gourmet, and then they do one-pot wonders. They have tons of options, and the recipes are great, and you can make them again later. Like if you really like one, then you can keep the recipe and make it on your own as well. And for our listeners, they have a deal. You can get $80 off your first month of HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy80 and enter BrainCandy80. So you get $80 off your first month of HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/BrainCandy80 and enter BrainCandy80. And it's great if you have picky eaters. Kids love the different options, keeps it interesting, and the meals come together in 30 minutes. Everybody has 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's...
All right. What else is on my mind? What else am I mad about?
Oh, my gosh. I feel like I'm my blood pressure this week. I got to like, check my Apple Watch. I guarantee you it's like through the roof.
Well, kind of speaking of like the sex stuff, I had read this statistic as well. In 2007, They were talking about New York Central Park. 400 tickets were issued for sex in the park in 2007. And in 2018, they only issued 6.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me the other way around.
No, I think it's that thing where
Okay.
because we have porn and stuff, nobody's doing it.
Oh, God.
But I don't know.
Really?
Like, I don't know the reason. I can only guess. What do you think?
Or do you think it has more to do with the homeless population being being relocated?
Oh, I don't know. I was
Because-
just thinking it's regular, like, everyday people getting frisky. You think it's homeless people?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well,
I
then
think
why
there
would they
could
be
be
doing
some.
it less?
I think there could be some, but that are regular people. But I think that maybe, I don't know. I'm totally.
Yeah.
I mean, this I do not have but this is just my thought.
So
But
you
I
think
just-
they've left New York, homeless people?
No, and not like left. But I think maybe
You're mad
there's
at
more
me.
control. Like maybe they don't allow sleeping in the park, or like they're the police are better. I don't know, clearing out people who are, people that are homeless and
Yeah.
moving them to different parts of New York City. You know, there's, that's kind of my what my gut's telling me, that maybe this has more to do with the policing of the park of who would stay there overnight
Okay.
than it would. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Feel
I guess
free to
I
at
just
me.
thought. Yeah. If you have a theory, let us know.
Yeah.
Why aren't people
Yeah,
banging?
because now what we have to look at is, anything about like the statistics of like other stats, and kind of like overlay them and see where there's maybe some more data points we need.
Yeah, that's sometimes the trouble is like you'll get a little bit of information, but you need so much context to know what's really at play.
Yes.
Like it can't be that people don't want to bang, although maybe
Right.
if it were regular people, maybe they are banging or just watching porn instead.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think there's or maybe like police just don't care and they're not issuing citations.
And surprisingly, 400.
Yeah.
I for some reason thought it would be more. Well, no, I guess that's like one a day in Central Park.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's a lot of banging.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Hey, you
And
remember?
I want to know, is it like AM, PM? When are people getting caught?
I
need
know.
more info.
Now, yeah, this is like whenever you tell me something and then I have like all these questions that you're not prepared to answer. It's like that.
This
I
is
don't
totally
know
the same.
anything.
Because I want to know the times, because if it's from the hours of, say, like
Yeah.
11:30 or midnight till like 2 a.m., then I could sort of see it being regular people who are maybe just like on the way home from a bar and they like do it. But
Yeah.
if it's during like daytime hours, I feel like regular like, unless you're a voyeur, unless that's like what you're into. But I have zero desire to have sex in a public park. And also,
Yeah.
is it in the bathrooms? I need more info.
No, this was saying it's the outdoors, and they mentioned a specific area where is very popular, and they had to build a fence around it because it's also a very popular bird watching area, and it makes for a lot of awkward run-ins where like people were going to look for birds, and then there'd be like some
Oh my God,
lady
that's
spread
funny.
eagle.
Which do you think came first? Well, and that no pun intended. No pun intended there.
I don't know, but I know they had to like build a fence around it
Because
just to
that would
keep
be
up.
really funny because one thing happened first. If that's the same place, so either the people who liked having sex in public were like, "Hey, I know where I could get somebody," because that's kind of like the thing that's enticing is like maybe I can get
Yeah.
caught, maybe somebody
Yeah.
will see me. So I don't think it's a coincidence that they went to the place where the likelihood of them getting caught is really high, since there's a bunch of people with freaking binoculars there.
It's crazy though, because I was thinking the opposite, that like they probably thought it was super secluded and that's why it was popular, but then they didn't know that it's also where birds hang out.
Oh, no, I think it's the other way. Or here's my other theory, the other side, my flip side to it. So that's the one, that's the bird watching people being the first ones there. or it's the sex people who were there, and then one guy was like a pervy voyeur who liked to watch, and then he was like just had his binoculars out, and then somebody was going to catch him one day. He was like, no, I'm just looking at the birds, and then he told all of his friends, and it became bird watching spot.
There is no way that is the reason. That
well,
is
come
not...
on, that's a great explanation of
yes.
Who knows.
I'm telling you, bird watchers are a very tame bunch.
I read this article a long time ago. I want to say it was in The Onion. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, The Onion, right?
The satirical magazine?
Yes, thanks. For some reason, my mind gave me garlic. And I was like, I don't think it's that.
We should do a satire of The Onion called The Garlic.
I call it The Garlic. That's great. Or Chives. That'd be great.
There is one called The Chive.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
maybe that's what you're referring to.
I'll already take it. Oh, maybe it is that then.
Okay.
But anyways, it was all about how... bird watchers are really into, like, it's like bird porn, and they need to stop looking at the birds, and why are you being so creepy watching the birds? And then it was like talking about, like, but it was done in such a way that it didn't sound like it was like negative. It was more like saying, oh, the bird watchers love to enjoy the birds, like caressing their breasts and da-da-da, and like just made it was done so well, and it just made me laugh because my grandma was a avid bird watcher.
I get how that happens. I think I'm turning into one in my old age.
Well, you liking birds?
I really am.
Oh, Suze, I saw the most adorable I took a picture of it, and it's in the window of an antique store in right next to my school in Orange, and it's a mid-century modern vintage bird cage.
No.
And it's gorgeous, and I'm like, you have to have it. I'm going to buy it.
What is the going rate?
$65.
Oh my God.
It's
I'll pay
deal,
you back.
Right? I thought it was going to have like a 2 in front of that.
Right. Sarah.
Suze, I'm buying it. Don't worry. I got you.
Okay. I'll pay you back. It's okay.
Oh, it's on me.
My God, I'm so excited.
Take me out to dinner. Yeah.
Take me out to dinner.
It is so, wait till you see it. I'll send you the picture. It's so cute. So,
wait, why didn't you pull the trigger on that though?
Because oh my God, this is so funny. Suze, I can't believe we're talking about this. When I tell you this, you're not even going to believe this. The only reason that I saw that birdcage is because I was walking down the street the same day, time when the man who yelled at me. Oh my God! I can't even believe this. My mind is blown. This is like meant to happen. We were meant to talk about this so you can have that birdcage. Because I walked by the antique mall. And that's where I went to the restaurant that had been there forever because it's right next to the antique mall.
Yes.
And as I was walking back, I spotted this. So had I not been yelled at by that man, I wouldn't have been able to get you your new favorite item.
Sarah, this is like sliding doors.
It totally is. Man, this is my new favorite episode.
Oh, God. My favorite, I keep thinking about that joke you told yesterday about how you couldn't picture them naked. And I just was so tickled by that. And I thought, I feel like they didn't laugh hard enough because you were like, yeah, I got to laugh.
Funny. Well, you know what? It's because I was because I was trying to think, I'm like, how do I weave it into my, into the presentation? Because I had thought about this. I was like, you have to open up a presentation on sexual abuse with something lighthearted to like break the tension. I mean, you got to. So,
right.
And how do you make a joke about sexual abuse funny? And so I think
it's a real challenge.
It's a real challenge. Like you said, you can only make a joke about it if it's funny. So I had that's the best I could come up with. But so I was thinking about it, and I do a grounding meditation before.
Yeah.
So I create, a visualization of a container that they can put all this stuff into, and they can close it, and they can put it on a shelf in their little, in their mind somewhere, and only access it when they need to. And it kind of keeps all the really raw and difficult emotions contained.
Yeah.
And really helps people. And that was actually what I got in a lot of the feedback was, thank you for doing the grounding exercise. That was really helpful.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so right before I did the grounding exercise, I was like, we're going to start with a grounding exercise to calm my nerves, not only just calm my nerves, but get us into a right headspace. And and I got to say, I am kind of nervous because I was talking to my husband and blah blah blah, and I just told him that, and then. But I think because I had just prompted them with that we were going to do a mindfulness meditation, that they had already like gotten into like, oh, I'm going to in a Zen place.
Yeah.
And so I have to do that joke before.
Yes. Now you know.
See, that's like how you got to do you got to run through your act if you're like a stand-up comedian, right? That's like my only joke, my only stand-up comedy joke, but you know.
Yeah, now you know you got to break the ice before you put more ice down. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, totally. Before I totally put more. That's good, Suze.
I just remembered I have another bird story because we were on the subject of birds.
Yes.
Which is, okay, so you know how like in nature people talk about, like we were talking about the gay penguins and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, then I saw this article about a rare bird that's basically intersexed. And the way that they know, because otherwise it'd be kind of hard to tell, like if a bird had a penis or whatever the hell they have.
Yeah.
But I didn't know this about birds, that they are different colors based on their gender. So this bird was half, like the right side of its body was red, like because it was a cardinal, and the other side was tan because the females are tan.
Oh my gosh, that is cool.
Sarah, are you on cocaine today?
No.
I love it.
I mean, I just took my ADHD medication, so
I'm like, I'll have
but
what
I just
she's
took the
having.
regular. I just took the regular dose, and maybe like a double thing of coffee this morning.
I love it. You're so, emotional.
Because I'm trying to visualize that. That's insane. That it divided. Okay, you know those costumes that I don't even know if they'd be very PC now, but where it's like you're half man, half woman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're like, they're like a Halloween costume almost.
Yeah.
And you like do one half your body as a man, one half your body as a woman. This is literally that in real life, in nature.
Well, here's what's really weird, and another thing I definitely did not know about birds, but the way that their brains are designed is that I don't even understand it right now. It said each side of the bird would be a sibling to the other side.
What? Okay, wait.
Almost like it's two birds, even though it's one
side of the bird. Wait, of this particular bird?
Yeah, the cardinal that's red and tan. Like
that
the red side is a sibling to the tan side. What the fuck does that mean?
That the DNA is different,
right?
In
the chromosomes,
each hemisphere,
yes,
or like in each whatever it. I don't know if it would be the brain, but in each side of the body.
No, you're right. It is. It's the chromosomes on each side are different, and so they're actually makes the siblings to itself.
What the actual fuck?
And it said that most of the time, in the cases of these intersex birds or whatever, that they're usually infertile.
Well,
which surprised me.
That's the same with people.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Women who have a lot of the, what is it called? Like Turner syndrome. Yeah, let me see. I'm going to do intersexed individuals. Yeah, they often have, well, it depends on what type. So there's like different kinds of like ways that this happens, like they're...
Yeah, depending on what kind it is, I guess.
Yes. And so it has to do with what reproductive organs you have of each. In
this case, the tan side is the side of the bird's body that would have the womb. And so it's possible that this bird is not infertile because the tan side is the side that is female, and it's also the side where, so maybe that bird can have babies.
It's the same kind of thing as same.
It's crazy to me.
I remember the names of because I'm doing a terrible job with my explanation over here.
No, you're not. Shush.
I should know what these names, considering this was exactly what we learned in sex therapy.
It's just interesting when nature mirrors something that humans have trouble understanding, even within our own species. And so it's like, oh, here's an example in nature that you can look at if you don't understand what being intersex is in the human world. Here's what it looks like with the friggin' bird and how it's two different colors. And Can you imagine
Oh
if
my
you saw
God.
one?
There are a ton of different kinds.
Isn't that cool?
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, well over 25, 30.
Wow.
Yes.
Of
Not XX, not XY, XXY, Turner syndrome, Sawyer syndrome, progestin-induced vitralization, partial androgen insensitivity syndrome.
that is so interesting to me.
Yep. Late onset adrenal hyperplasia, and it's about 1% of the population, or 1 in 100.
Yeah, it's not as rare as you'd think.
Yeah, and that's when people are like, oh my gosh, that person, like transgender, this, what? Guess what? You have met so many people in your lifetime who are not, like, what would you call it? Not cisgendered people.
Yes.
For goodness sakes. I mean, people just don't know. Look, I'm real mad about stuff today.
I love it. You're up and down. I love that.
Yeah. Real emotional roller coaster. Maybe I should a good night of sleep, and all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, it is fascinating to see all these stories. And then I know we talk about it all the time. What? Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to say, I have to say this first. This is full circle because this is why we need sex education.
Ugh, exactly.
Because this is why people are confused. Sex education is not penis and vagina, going into a vagina. It's education on the different kinds of human bodies that are out there. And had you been educated that there are well over 25 different kinds of variations of intersex individuals, you would be more compassionate towards those people.
Yeah. Ugh. I agree.
End of rant.
Sometimes we preach to the choir.
I know.
And we're just
you know what?
Agree.
The people who we're preaching to the choir, who hopefully will be enraged again about this, and then talk to maybe a group of their friends where one was kind of on the fence, and then they tell their family or something like that. It's just getting the education out there and the information out there, and the more we talk about it, the more we normalize it. So,
Well, and I think that anytime you get worked up about something, like when you're mad, for example, if there's a debate about bathrooms with people that are transgendered, okay, really look in the mirror and ask yourself, why are you really upset?
Yeah.
Because it's usually fear-based. And I just have come to the conclusion that almost any decision you make out of fear is probably not the right one. And I don't mean being cautious or safety conscious. I'm talking about, I'm afraid that the boogeyman is going to come in the bathroom and whatever.
Yeah.
You got to look in the mirror and be like, what is really going on? Why am I worked up about this?
Yes.
Because it's
I also want to be very clear that I do not think that people who are trans are also intersex. So that's I know that there's a clear distinction there.
Yeah.
But often
Did you
people who
imply
are
that they were
intersex. Well, no, I was just arguing that people who are anti-trans this or anti-trans that, that
it's different.
That it is different, and that but often people who are intersex get forced into a gender that they don't align with. So then they almost become people who have to then what do you call it? Not change their sex, but align their sex with their mind.
Yeah.
Realign. Yeah.
I know we always talk about this, and we always end up talking about crows.
But they're fascinating, so I'm never going to stop.
They really are. I read another article about the consciousness of animals. I believe it was in the Atlantic. And it was talking about how crows, they wanted this, I forget where, but there are these nuts, and you can't eat the meat of the nut unless you can get it open, and they're really hard to open. So they would throw them down from the wires onto the road, so the cars would then run them over so they could get the meat out of the nut.
I know enough about crows to have already heard this story.
Oh, yeah. And so that was the sort of opening part of the article.
I love it.
I know, it's so interesting. And that thing about how the mirror test and which animals know that. Oh God,
Yep,
is that not the coolest?
I love it. It is so cool.
I love hearing how they can figure it out. So they put like a spot on the back of a magpie, which is kind of in the crow family, and they put him in front of a mirror, and when he saw the spot on his back in the mirror, he looked on his own back to see if it was there.
Oh,
and that's
just
how
like
they
a human would.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's so great because it shows that they have a sense of self.
Right.
They understand that they are,
someone.
that they're someone. I think, therefore I am. Well, crows clearly think, and they are,
Yeah. They talked about how trout they fake orgasms to get rid of the guys.
What?
Like if the partner is like not too desirable, they'll fake an orgasm
that's hilarious.
to get rid of them.
I bet a lot of animals do that. That is
Right?
so funny. Well, because I think almost in a way it would be like almost like a form of like protection, or something like that. Like, yeah, get away from me. I'm done here.
And
weird.
they were trying to decide, how there's a debate about like what fish can feel in terms of pain. And
what?
Well, they injected acid into the lips of these fish, and they would basically scrape their lips up against like the sharp things to try to get rid of it until they got morphine. So we know that they did feel it, and that
no.
Yeah. That was a bummer.
Oh, I can't fish now.
Does it make you not want to eat them?
That. No, it makes me not want to kill them.
Well,
it's really messed up. I understand this. Vegans out there and vegetarians, don't at me. I can eat them, but I can't kill them if no. My whole theory about fish is, or the way I sleep at night with the fish is that they have so many babies. So it's like, for every one, there's like thousands of offspring or hundreds. So it's okay. But, now that I know, because it's the idea that when it has a hook in its mouth, that oh my God, and taking the hook out would be painful, and then throwing them in the bucket and they're still alive and just suffering. How could I do that to a thing?
Right. And it was talking about how when you do that and they flail around,
my heart.
They have no sense of whether this is going to be over or not. They might think that their suffering is their new reality. They have no sense of they're dying, really. I don't know. It was complicated, but I was just well, this sounds terrible. Anyway, you slice it.
It does sound terrible. Ugh. Maybe
but so as long as you don't have to be the killer, you're fine.
Well, as long as I don't have to be the killer, and as long as I don't have deep conversations with my best friend in which I think long and hard about the suffering of the animals. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about this one.
You mean right now?
Right now, Susie.
I was wait, who is she talking
it might be difficult to go and bite into a hamburger this afternoon.
Right. I don't want to think that they can feel pain or that they have a consciousness.
I know they can. Well, and then I think even more about, that the experience of pain and why I'm a big, and anybody should be a big advocate for more free range stuff and animals just being part of the ecosystem, and then only having them that often, not killing them all the time in these huge slaughterhouses, and people eat way too much meat, but I don't want to get on that soapbox, because the stress hormones that are released in the brain and into the whole body when an animal is in those conditions are awful. And then for us to eat those, I feel like that probably isn't good for us. Mm-hmm. I think that might be a very bad thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's sort of if you don't care about the animals, quality, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you think about even what it does to you, maybe it'll change your mind. I don't eat a lot of meat, I will say.
Me
I'm
neither.
not like one of those people that's really into it, but I would find it difficult to give it up.
I have never, ever, I can say this because, like, I don't know why I feel like because I haven't ever, now it becomes like a thing I say, and now I can't ever order this item. Yeah. Never ordered a steak at a restaurant my whole life.
Why is that?
Because I never liked an entire meat, like chunk of meat that much.
Wait a minute.
I like the stuff around it. I've never ordered a steak. I've never gone to a steakhouse and been like, I'll have the steak.
What do you get at a steakhouse?
Like
then?
fish or chicken or like all the sides. Like I just don't.
Really?
I'm not into it.
Wow.
Yeah, and then after like once I was like 24, 25 and had never ordered a steak, then I started saying every time I went to the steakhouse, you know what? I've never ordered a steak. And then it became like a thing. And now I'm like, well, I can never order a steak.
Are you not even tempted?
No, not one little bit.
Huh.
But the best thing is everybody around me's ordered a steak, so I just want one bite.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like I'm against the steak. It's delicious, but I could never eat an entire thing of it.
Well, you're something.
Yeah.
And you're worked up today, and that's all I really want.
Just don't take me out to a steakhouse. And we're all good.
No, you'd be a cheap date. If you're getting the pasta, that's a bargain.
do take me out. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, that's where I'll take you for
it's
the
probably
payment
where that
for
started,
the
where I looked at that number and I was like, oh, hell no.
Because you're frugal.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, you're off the hook. We're done.
All right.
Don't forget to give us a 5-star review and subscribe and tell us nice things on social media.
Tell us what you're ragey about,
Yeah, what are you mad about?
Yeah. We should probably start doing things that we're like happy and excited about, but
that maybe in episode 400.
Yes, 400 will be all about that. All right, friends.
People. Bye. This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.